readers. In this video I'm going to talk about I Swear I Won't Bother You Again. Volumes 2 and 3. I do have volume 4. I cannot wait to read it because this series has really just swept me away. I very much enjoy it. I just noticed how much smaller volume 3 is than volume 2. But I fell in love with I Swear I Won't Bother You Again in the manga. Like I thought this might be one that I would really stick to, the manga, because I like the artwork, the story is really good, and I was like, is there a point in getting the light novels? However, I'm so glad that I picked up the light novels because I think I like the story being told in the light novels better than the manga. And it's not that the manga doesn't faithfully capture a lot of the light novel, because I think it does. I think it gets to the heart of the light novel story. But I feel like, how do I say this? Like things are more clarified throughout the light novel. Like it's blatantly obvious about characters' thoughts and motivations and feelings. Whereas I feel it's a lot more subdued for the manga. Like almost that the manga is trying to keep you guessing about character relationships and feelings. Like it's there, but it's not as blatant, which seems weird. Like, why does that matter? And I think it's just the depth of emotion that is explored in the light novel is better. So for volumes 2 and 3, I'll tell you the gist of what happens in volume 2, and then we'll go over volume 3. So what it says on the back here is that for volume 2, Polite Makes Right, Violet, the Duke's daughter, was imprisoned for an unforgivable crime, but she gains a miraculous chance when she awakens in her own past a year before her sentencing. This time she swears not to make a single misstep. She'll live quietly and unobtrusively so no one gets hurt, although the restrictive bonds of House Vahan keep Violet tethered. Her childhood friend Yulan and her maid Marin are there to support her, as well as an unlikely ally who crosses her path. So this one, I feel like I kept waiting, like this sounds bad. I feel like in this volume, I kept waiting for certain things from the manga, and not that that didn't happen, but I feel like more, how do I say this, more went into like the relationship with her and Yulan. Including like this really cute Christmas story that really was like her first present and is really cute and sad. This is so complicated because I know like certain things were brought up in the manga. I think including her past, but maybe not as blatantly as the light novel. And it could also be like where the light novel is in comparison to the manga. Like I'm trying to remember. In this volume, if I'm remembering correctly, yes, this is the big reveal volume. This one, let's see, still a story that's covered in the manga. There are the character relations, including Mary June seems to develop a little crush on Yulan, and there's the whole study group. This all was also in the manga, where they do a little story group with the prince and Yulan and Mary June and Violet. And Violet obviously is still trying to get the prince to fall in love with Mary June because she's trying to set Mary June up with the best relationship possible. Claudia, who's the prince, he's not really interested in Mary June in this reversal of time. He is interested in Violet. And so there's a weird dichotomy kind of with Mary June interested in Yulan and Claudia interested in Violet. But Yulan definitely has feelings for Violet, and Violet in the light novel and in the book. Although I feel like you don't really see it as much, or at least where I am there, because I think I don't have volume 4 yet of the manga, so I haven't gotten there. But she hasn't really come to the realization of her feelings in there, whereas by here she definitely discovers her feelings for Yulan, and a big part of that is once Mary June kind of seems to be showing an interest, then she realizes Yulan is not someone that she's willing to let go of, and that she really doesn't want to see him with someone else. And I don't know, I love their interaction. I think it's great. Definite spoilers here that I have to get into because I want to talk about Volume 3. And in this volume, they might have been hinting at it here. I don't think they revealed it until here. But Yulan remembers the previous lifetime. And that is incredible to me. So there is, I guess when we restart this life with Violet, right? Yulan is there supporting her. And there are certain actions that Yulan takes to like protect her that, I don't know, you think initially that it's just because they're childhood friends and he's always watched out for her and he's always deeply cared for her. But the revelation is that he remembers how things were before, that he remembers that previous lifetime. And what's interesting too is he's a character that, I was just thinking, did he know then? Now I can't remember. I think so though. Because like his memories come differently. But so I'm like, yeah, I think he knew by then. Now I'm second guessing myself. But he is a character who in the previous life, he would have been willing to sacrifice his own happiness for Violet to be happy. Even if that meant that she ended up with Prince Claudia. He just wanted her to be happy. Since he remembers how everything played out then, in this lifetime, he's not really willing to have that happen, if that makes sense. I do think he'd be willing to accept if Violet were in love with Claudia and Claudia did accept her. I think he'd still be willing to because he's a decent enough guy. But I think he's more recognizing of his own feelings in this timeline, if that makes sense. And so these have me hanging on because I really just want to see them together. I really just want to see them admit their feelings for one another, like a joint confession, and be together. And I almost feel like I should have waited and read Volume 4 first to see like where that goes. Because this one is continuing to like move forward. There's a lot of forward momentum here. And it looks like we're about to get to a certain point. But I'm also suspicious of that. Like I don't know where it's actually going to lead because it's a story and a series, and so things have to get in the way. I have also failed to mention the character that does come into play here, the unlikely ally, who is also featured in the manga, and I think she's the cover of the 4th volume, but that is, I think she's a princess, Princess Rosette, who actually, if I'm remembering correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is the legitimate fiance to Prince Claudia, which I think is really interesting. Like, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, she's the official fiance, like from the palace wise. And I don't know how that's all gonna play out either. But Rosette actually becomes friends with Violet, and they're like the 2 flower girls. And she's a quirky character, but I like her. And I hope I'm not mistaking that whole thing, but I'm pretty sure, like, it's admitted there, like, you are somebody, I think Violet says it about how she's the fiance, and there's kind of that surprise there from other people. Am I remembering that correctly? Anyway, I like that they're getting to be friends. I think in the manga, she is very briefly introduced in Volume 3, so I'm betting that's why she's on the cover of Volume 4, is because they'll cover more about them interacting and becoming more friends. I like the series. I like the interrelationships that are happening, because we still have Violet, who is still trying to appease Mary June. Her parents, okay, her stepmother I am unsure of, because if I'm remembering correctly, there's something a little weird going on there. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And I think I'm worried about how it's going to play out for her relationship and any confessing to Yulan, if I'm remembering correctly. She's just a little strange. And there was a particular scene that involved Marin and like her trying to keep Marin away. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about her. A lot of the times, like, she doesn't seem that bad. Her father is awful. Like, he's just horrible. I don't know why he's so mean to her. Like, yes, she's the daughter of the woman he was forced to marry, but, like, she's also your daughter, my dude. Like, just be kind to her. Because she really hasn't done anything in this timeline that warrants his just anger and disrespect to her, but he is very, like, nothing she does is right. Even if Mary June is like, Father, don't be mean to Violet. He really only kind of goes around her. If, like, Mary June wants her around, then he feels she is obligated to do whatever just to appease Mary June. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about her family. Like, most of the time I don't think Mary June is that bad. I think she does genuinely want a relationship with Violet, but I also think she's obnoxiously oblivious most of the time. Like, she doesn't have any, like, natural empathy or willingness to understand or detect the emotions of her sister and maybe what her sister's going through and really build a deep connection. Like, I feel like she's missing that, and probably because she's so spoiled and hasn't really been taught to develop that instinct. Like, she's really just been given everything that she wants. She was raised as the spoiled daughter of the Duke, whereas, you know, Violet was raised very abusively by the mother, and manipulated, and really only had Marin until she met Yulan. So you can definitely see that, like, their two upbringings have very, very determinedly decided on how these characters have developed. But I do not think that Mary June is bad. I just don't think that she perceives things. And I don't know, I could be wrong. She could turn out to be terrible. I'm waiting and seeing. But it seems like even in the past lifetime, like, she wasn't really that bad. I just feel like she didn't really pay attention. But it's just interesting to me that a lot of the characters through this time are quite different from how cold-hearted they seemed in the other lifetime. So, I don't know. I just know that I love these characters. I love the story. I think it's fascinating trying to see what Violet will do in order to have a pleasant life and not be murdered and not murder anyone else. But at the same time, I think that now she is at this point where maybe she would choose to have a life of her own. And I think it'll be interesting to see whether or not she actually can do that. Like, are there going to be feelings confessed? And if there are, will it work out? I still feel like something's going to happen that gets in the way that's not good. And then that will have to be resolved. Because unless the series ends next volume, which I don't think it's set to, there has to be something else that gets in the way. And I'm trepidatious. Like, I don't really want to read that or see what happens, but I don't know. I'm nervous about it. And I just want the sweet kids to be happy. I will say, like, I like Claudia as a character too, and I would like to see him happy. I don't think he's that bad. I think he had... I don't know. I think in the past life, he was a little bit more stone-faced and cold-hearted, but in this lifetime, he doesn't seem that bad, and I would like for him to have a happy life and rule as well. Oh, the other difference I noticed in this, and I could be misremembering, so if you remember like where it's brought up, if it is, in the light novel, it hints at the fact that Yulan and Claudia are half-brothers, but I think it's just hints. I don't think they've ever blatantly said it, whereas in the manga, it for sure has been said. Like, there's been discussions between the two of them and about the past. And then there's like bonus stories in the back that have like clearly said about them being half-brothers. And I know for sure that it was kind of mentioned here because that was part of the backstory and the teasing of Yulan when he met Violet was about his eyes, because he has the golden eyes of the royal family, and so he was being teased by a group of boys over that. But I don't know if it's ever just blatantly said it. And they had that scene in the manga too, I should say. So certain things definitely in the manga and in the light novel. There's the pocket watch gift, that's in both. The studying together, that's in both. The bullying as a child over like the eyes, that's in both. And Violet, you know, because it develops their relationship. But then I just feel like we haven't gotten as much in the mind of Yulan, whereas this one, I think it was mostly in this one. There might have been a bit in volume 2 toward the end too. We're actually with Yulan, and we get to see Yulan and Yulan's feelings and the past and everything. And I don't feel like we've gotten that as much with the manga, if that makes sense. But do you remember, was there a point where they blatantly said they're half-brothers in the light novel, if you read it? Because I don't remember that. It was something I knew going in, so maybe I wasn't looking for it because I already knew from the manga, but I don't recall it being, like, said. I don't know. But I definitely have enjoyed these two. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in Volume 4 and beyond, as long as it continues. I do think this is a great series for people who like the new life restart kind of series, but also if you just like shoujo and you like love stories and you like friends to lover stories, then I think that I Swear I Won't Bother You Again is perfect for that. And Violet's a good character. That's Rosette. Rosette? Did I just say that right? That's her. Yeah. And look, a little Yulan. I noticed too the artwork for the light novels, their eyes are slightly more green tinged, but it looks more gold in the manga versions. So that's just interesting. That was just a little piece of trivia that I just noticed. That is it for this video. Until next time, bye.